What's going on, guys? This is Kaishiro. Welcome back. So we are back with another video of Uncrowned Kings, the All Metagame report that will cover tournament results and topping deck lists from July 8 to July 17. So a week long and a half tournament results and data that we will cover. So we will see what decks did well on the second week of the July format that we have here right now. So it's really exciting to see what are the decks that are doing really well currently and what are the decks that got some notable tops lately. So yeah, let's get started. At first we have Result Tournament, July 8, 2023. We have Mave, Rescue Ace. So quite standard deck list of Rescue Ace, opted to play Small World on the main deck. Really exceptional because he plays Diddy Crow, Droll Lockbird, Ghost Ogre. So he wants to have access to a plethora of fan traps on his main deck and to boost the consistency of his deck as well. And quite standard triple Solemn Judgment on the side deck, but for me I would rather play Artifact Lancea because I'm just playing around evenly matched most of the time. So yeah, I think that players here in the Philippines are still playing Cosmic Cyclone over Lightning Storm. So evenly matched is the only threat that I want to eradicate using the Artifact Lancea when using Rescue Ace, and Artifact Lancea as well can be very good on mirror matches on Rescue Ace. So moving on, we have Mark Ducot, Sword Soul Tenyi. Quite standard deck of Sword Soul except for the fact that he plays Forbidden Calice on the main deck. Really interesting that he plays Calice over Veiler. I'm not too sure about that patronization of Calice, but yeah, I think that this can be a good alternative to Effect Veiler. And then moving on, we have Tonton Ninja. So this is our Kaido Will's friend as well. Tonton plays Ninja. So double Book of Moon only. Most of the time I often see 3 copies of Book of Moon, but Tonton plays only 2 Book of Moon and triple Lancea as well on the side deck. I think this is a very good card to answer Rescue Ace, like I have said earlier. That's why he opted to play this card on his side deck. And then pretty standard deck is of Ninja. Plays Eradicator as well, really insane on his side deck because Ninja monsters can be dark monsters. So yeah, this can be very useful on Ninja. And then moving on, we have another Yu-Gi-Oh! Binangonan Rizal Community Tournament. I think this is the same Sword Soul deck list from Mark Ducot, just a different tournament. And we have Jed Runic, Naturia. So this is with the Naturia engine. Plays Glow Up Bulb in the Naturia package. So no Floodgates on the main deck, but plays Ash Blossom and Maxi on the main deck. This is the combo-oriented version of Runic that you don't see regularly. Most of the time you just see Runic Stun, but this guy begged to differ and played Runic Naturia. And then we have the Rescue Ace decklist from earlier from Ave. Moving on, we have Mola Hobby Shop Tournament. We have Vanquishol at first place. So place there can be only one, quite standard. It's been a norm for Vanquishol players to play there can be only one because it can stand a lot of meta relevant decks on the format, and you can also play around there can be only one. That is why this is very beneficial towards the Vanquishol strategy. And plays Pankrataps as well. Very nice inclusion from him, from Robin. I think that Pankrataps is pretty underrated right now in the format. Many players don't use Pankrataps, but I really see the significance of Pankrataps to out problematic Floodgates on the current format. And then second place Tier Elements. Quite standard deck list of Tier Elements. Plays Lava Golem on the side deck. That's the interesting part. And plays Monster Reborn as well. Very unusual from Berto. And then moving on, we have Kaido Will's Premiership Remote Duel Local Ranking League, or our Ranking League Tournament. Pod C, Week 16 Pod C. At first place, we have Joshua Coriano's Vanquishol. Another Vanquishol. So, Vanquishol has been doing quite okay for the past few weeks. from what I have seen on our metagame reports, Vanquishol are slowly gaining traction from many players. So, opted to play Phantasmi on the side deck. That's pretty unusual, maybe because we have Orcust and Salamangreat players on our community. So yeah, he plays Phantasmi, and Phantasmi also gives draw power and consistency for the Vanquishol that is very much needed for the deck. And then next we have Ian Carlos Sousa, Fluandry, second place. Plays triple Harpist Feather Storm on the main deck, so he really wanna go first when playing this deck to get some instant wins from this card. And plays Null on the main deck. I forgot the name of this card. The alternative card boss monster of Fluandris. He doesn't play Avian, no? Maybe because he plays 2 Ryza and he plays already 2 Empen. That's why he doesn't have Avian on the main deck. And plays double, what do you call this? I forgot the name of this continuous spell of Fluandris. And plays double trap card as well. Really interesting. Plays Twin Twister over Cosmic Cyclone. Very unusual from the Fluandris player. Most of the time you see Cosmic Cyclone here, but maybe he wants to out more than one Floodgate or back row. That's why he plays 2 Twin Twister. And moving on, we have another ranking league tournament from our community. We have MJ Agura, Orcust with Scarecrow Engine. So he's been dominating with this deck for quite some time in our local community. Many players haven't figured out how to stop this deck. As well as me, to be honest, I really don't know how to choke this deck most of the time. And this deck is quite slippery. MJ has a lot of moves on his sleeve to play around many multiple scenarios and boards. That's why I really admire this deck building from MJ. And next we have Sky Striker from Justin De La Peña. So going second, Sky Striker decklist with double Lightning Storm and triple evenly match on the main deck. So he really wants to go second with this deck. Even plays Harpist Feather Duster and Talents on the main deck. And on the side deck, he plays the There Can Be Only One and Solemn Strike. I really like this inclusion from him because when going onto the game 2 and 3, if his opponents figured out that he plays going second Sky Striker, that player will definitely make him go first on the next game, so that he's prepared with There Can Be Only One and Solemn Strike when he went to go first. So yeah, I think that this is a very good play around from Justin De La Peña on his side deck. And then moving on, we have Headquarters Hobbies and Card Games. So at first place, we have another Vanquishol with triple Parallel Exceed. I don't see this that much. Oh, he plays Mathmech Engine, that's why. So this is a Vanquishol with Mathmech Engine, the more explosive version of Vanquishol. So this has the Super Factorial Pass with Rock of Vanquisher, really insane board that we have here. And yeah, this can also be very strong when going second, because you have access to Update Jammer and going into the access code that can attack twice and has many pops. So really nice. From Easy Anang. And we have Rai Atrasina, Rescue Ace. Quite standard decklist of Rescue Ace. Doesn't play Small World but plays the Proxy F Magician and Mad Dragon Fusion. So he wants to protect his Turbulence from getting Imperm or Whaler. And then next we have Rescue Ace. This is the most innovative version of Rescue Ace nowadays. The Rescue Ace players plays the Mecha Phantom Beast Olion that can go into Borreload Savage. This is the alternative version that can protect his board from Evenly Match, Lightning Storm, Feather Duster, those board wipe cards, because he has now Omni Negate from the Borreload Savage using the Mecha Phantom Beast Olion engine on this Rescue Ace. So really nice innovation as well from Rescue Ace. And then moving towards our next stop, we have another ranking league tournament on our community. We have Reden Andalan with Orcust. So quite similar on MJ Agura's deck build of Orcust, but he doesn't play Scareclaw. Plays triple Revo Synchron, really explosive from Reden, and 2 Forbidden Droplet. Unlike MJ, he opted to play his main deck into 40 cards only. MJ has 43, and this guy also plays Twin Twister, really notable because you want to have your Orcust on your graveyard as much as possible, and plays triple draw, quite standard. And next we have J Austria with only 10 extra deck cards. He said that he doesn't have the cards yet to fill his extra deck, but he still manages to top even though he has 10 cards on the extra deck. Really nice from J Austria. Abyss Actor, no, we don't see this much often lately, but I have watched his game, and Abyss Actor has that potential to go first and win the game from there, because this deck has a lot of monster negates and it's quite tricky to play against. So yeah, I think that this is a very good deck, a rogue deck right now. Plays Ghost and Match as well. Maybe the monsters of Abyss Actor are dark monsters most of the time, so Ghost and Match can be viable. I don't know the name of the card between Droll and Pankrataps. That's his tech card. And then moving on, we have another ranking league tournament from our community. We have Alexis Precioso, purely. So he doesn't play Path of Prosperity on the main deck. Instead, he plays only 2 Desires. So really interesting. If I'm going to play purely, I would rather play the Prosperity here over Red Reboot. So he plays Dimensional Fissure as well on the main deck. That's the recent innovation from Japanese players, because it's quite good on mirror match and really good as well on Three Elements matchups. And then moving on, we have Umi from MC. So Umi has been quite underrated for me as well. Many players don't regard this deck highly on their books, but I definitely think that Umi can definitely snatch victories from this current metagame. Because what are you gonna do with Umi? This deck can stun you if you don't have the specific outs against this deck. So I think if you're not prepared to go against Umi, it will definitely give you some hard time. And then moving on, we have Bandung Duelist tournament results. At first place, we have Infernoble Knight. So this deck still sees play, but this guy plays Smoke Grenade. I guess it's from before, yeah. It's from June 23. So yeah, we will not ponder on this too much. This is from the previous ban list. And next we have Stardust, weekly Stardust tournament. At first place we have Fluandris here. So plays gold Sarcophagus, really good card to improve the consistency of Fluandris, and plays Time Rendering Morganite as well. So he wants to have better grind game on this deck, but for me, I don't regard Morganite on Fluandris, to be honest. I see this card as a very slow card on the Fluandris. Fluandris is already slow, on my opinion. You need cards to have interactions with this deck when going second for me, to make the deck more resilient when going second, and give the consistency cards like the pot cards here, or chicken game or something. So yeah. And then moving on, we have Gen Raider. So this deck is also quite frivolous. You don't see these quite often, but it's getting taps from here and there once in a blue moon. So yeah, I think that this deck is quite good when you want to catch your opponents off guard. And plays triple There Can Be Only One. So this deck plays around There Can Be Only One, no? This player piloted this deck with floodgates, like There Can Be Only One. And side deck is pretty streamlined with going second cards like Lightning Storm and Evenly Match. So moving on, we have Makassar Duelist Community from Indonesia. At first place, we have Invoke Dogmatica. So Invoke Dogmatica has been gaining traction in our country, on our local scenes. There's a lot of players stopping with this Invoke Dogmatica, because if you don't have outs to Winda, you will definitely struggle against this deck. Imagine having Winda on the opponent's board and you have only one special summon And on top of that, he has Omni Negate from Mekaba. So it's quite hard to deal against if this deck draw properly and draw the good cards and went uninterrupted. So yeah, I think that this is a good deck right now on the format. And then we have Purely here with Triple Santa Claus. This is the innovation of Kuki Kosaka, the world champion 2019, from his Purely decklist before, but I don't see this tech nowadays. But this guy half D plays Santa Claus on the main deck. And then next we have Scarecrow. Only pure Scarecrow, doesn't have Adventurer. I often see Scarecrow with Adventurer, but this guy plays Scarecrow with Prisma package. So yeah, I think this can work as well. And then next we have what we have here next, Prodigy Bekasi tournament report, weekly tournament report. So yeah, at first place here we have Vala Wangi, Invoke Gen Raider with Revo Synchron. Really interesting. Plays Necro Valley as well on the main deck. Necro Valley can be very good against tier elements right now in the format, which is by the way the best deck on the Road of the King article recently. So tier elements has been popping off lately. So I guess Necro Valley makes a lot of sense on this deck. So yeah, moving on, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Davao ranking tournament. Shoutouts to our Davaoeños friends in the Philippines. At first place we have Harold Gase Rescue Ace. So this is a pretty standard decklist of Rescue Ace. Plays Proxy F Magician and plays the Tyrion package. Wow, this is the innovation from Harold Gase. Plays this Regulus on the main deck to protect his board. Really nice. And only plays a handful of hand traps, no? He doesn't have that much of hand traps on the main deck, unlike other deck lists. And plays Bestial as well, maybe because of tier elements. And plays Kaiju as well, maybe because of Purely. But nowadays, Purely players are gaining popularity on playing their field spell back. Before, they ditched their field spell for some utility cards like Trust and Herald of the Abyss and Santa Claus like earlier. But now they have played their field spell now again, once again. So yeah, I think that Kaiju, Kurikara, and those Santa Claus removals can be much weaker now than before, unlike before, because now they have their field spell. They have ways to recover. And then next we have Synchron Adventurer. So this is the deck that Santana from Thailand piloted on the Duelist Cup main event Asia. So he gained second place finish on that, and many players batted an eye towards this deck, and many players have seen the relevance and the strength of this deck from that moment. So yeah, many players are trying this deck nowadays, and it's really hard to stop this deck if you don't have out to Junk Speeder. If you don't have Veiler or Imperm on Junk Speeder, it will be very difficult for you. It can really make a stupid board with Barone, Trishula, Case Angel, and this Hot Red Archfiend Abyss Dragon. So yeah, there's a lot of negations, and this Pater as well. And not to mention, he has the Cyframe Omega that can rip hand cards. So yeah, it's really a tough task to play against this deck if you don't have outs. And Calamity as well, I forgot to mention. And then next we have Chloe J. Del Puerto Chimera decklist. So I have seen his decklist before, tapped on their locals, and he is notorious for playing Lava Golem and Alpha Master of Beasts on the main deck. His take on Chimera can be very versatile or flexible when going first or going second. This can make a good board when going first, and can also go second with his going second tech cards like Talents and Lava Golem and Master Beast and Nibiru as well. So yeah, really flexible decklist here from Del Puerto. And fourth place we have Deo Gregory Pizarro Thunder Dragon. So this is a deck also that are relevant for a very long time. Many players are innovating Thunder Dragon with this Revo Synchron, because it makes the deck more resilient and more explosive. That has a synchro line of plays like this Chaos Ruler and Heart-Red Archfiend Abyss Dragon and Chaos Angel, to name a few. So yeah, I think that this can work also as well, the Thunder Dragon. But I would rather play this deck with Bestials and Floodgates, like there can be only one, and Shifter as well. So yeah, quite different from Pizarro's Thunder Dragon, ideally. And then moving on, we have Order of the Duelist and Albay tournament. At first place here, we have Genji, Rescue Ace. So this is a very standard Rescue Ace decklist nowadays, with the Mega Phantom Beast Lion that can go into Savage. And yeah, I think that this is a pretty fair decklist and functional one. You have a good reference on this decklist when you're going to pick up Rescue Ace. And the next we have Sword Soul Tenyi from Angelo. So this is quite standard as well. Plays Ghost Bell on the main deck. I really like this inclusion from Angelo. I think Ghost Bell has been very good so far for me on my experience on the current format. Ghost Bell can definitely stop a lot of decks right now in the format, like Branded, to name a few. So I think that Ghost Bell can be very good. And then next we have Mark Stephen Purely, another guy duelist on Albay. So this time he plays Lightning Storm on the main deck. That is very unusual, and talents as well. So he's flexible on going second as well on this deck, and plays Crossout Designator. So maybe he wants to play around Ash Blossom, something like that, or on the mirror matches. So yeah, I think this is a pretty interesting decklist from Mark Stephen. And fourth place we have the fabled Madolche Mech Knight Orcus featuring Adventurer. So a 60 card deck, really unusual, from Junpei Seiryu. This is the what do you call this, mysterious player that taps on their locals from quite weekly, I guess. So this is a very interesting deck, and I don't know how this works, to be honest, but he seems to be very comfortable with the deck, and he can tap on a regular basis. So moving on, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Community Zambales Tournament, Tabletop Gapo Ranking Tournament. We have a champion here from Bob Marzan, another guy duelist, Pendulum Magician. So standard decklist of Pendulum Magician, I guess. Nothing too unusual here. That's the usual decklist of Penmagi. And then moving on, we have another Yu-Gi-Oh! Community Zambales Tournament. We have champion deck profile here from Joshua Coriano, Purely. So he plays Pot of Desires as well on the main deck. And Pot of Prosperity, this is what I like to see. Only plays 2 field spell, but I would rather play 3, to be honest. And plays triple Solemn Strike. Really good card right now for me on the very diverse format. This is a good going first card when you don't know what are your opponents are going to be for me, because Solemn Strike has been very versatile for a very long time. And then moving on, we have Memorabilia YGO July Monthly Tournament. So this is what the deck that I'm looking forward to. This is a Volcanic decklist from Michael Renzo. He went 8-0 on that tournament, so it's really insane and crazy at the same time. You don't see Volcanic deck go 8-0 on a tournament that big on a single day. So yeah, it's pretty amazing, no? I don't really expect Volcanic to do that much. And here we are, we have an 8-0 Volcanic decklist right in front of our eyes. So he plays a Parallel Exceed, so he wants to extend with this deck. And this deck aims to burn damages towards the opponent. So yeah, I think this is very cancerous deck when going into game 3 or something like that of the time rules. So yeah, I plays Dark Fluid Dragon as well. Really nice from Michael Renzo. He's been a very good player on our country, a really top player here. So it's nothing too surprising from him. It's just that Volcanic is a really surprising deck for me. And we have, on the same tournament, we have Ethan Galvez DDD. So this is the same deck list that he's been playing on our local community tournaments. So plays Raigeki and Veiler and one Small World and one Dark Ruler No More and one Lava Golem. A bunch of 1-offs on the main deck, even one Ghost Bell. He really likes to play 1-offs on the main deck. That's what I like about him. It's pretty interesting to see this deck building method from Ethan. And base Deck Devastation Virus, really underrated one. This is a good version as well of virus card, like the Eradicator Epidemic Virus. It can really catch people off guard on this virus card. And then moving on, we have Final Turn Hobby Shop Saturday Tournament. We have Lawrence Justiniani branded Bestial Deck Profile, Champion Deck Profile. So standard deck list of branded Bestial only plays 2 Saronir. I often see 3 copies of Saronir, but he opted to play 2. I'm not too sure if the deck list is 40. But yeah, I think that this is a very tolerable amount of ratios on the branded deck. And then moving on, we have Purely again from Alexis Precioso on Dumaguete weekly tournament. So yeah, this is a Purely deck list. Yeah, this is the similar deck list that he played on our local community tournament, ranking tournament from earlier. And next we have Bandung Duelist tournament. Now this is the updated version. We have July 2023. We have Tratrix here. Plays 2 Kaiju on the main deck. Really favorable against Purely matchups. You have to have Kaijus to out Danoir, of course. And plays 2 Evil Limash as well. Maybe they have back row matchups on their locals. And then next we have Salamangreat with Blaster and Dogoran on the main deck. Interesting because he plays Small World, so yeah, he has access to Blaster and Dogoran. He's not playing the Fire Hita Charmer effect monster, no, on the main deck, but I would rather play it if he's playing Blaster already, for my perspective. And next we have Dino here. Scrap Dino with the Transcendosaurus support. So Dino has been popping off lately on tournament results. So on the Road of the King article recently, Dino has been part of the metagame chart. So I guess that Dino players are really doing really well lately on the OCG metagame format. So yeah, I think that it's pretty understandable because when you don't have Droll against Dino and Ash Blossom and Maxi, you will struggle against Dino because this can make a lot of negations and it can really OTK as well. And fourth place we have RDA, Red Dragon Archfiend. So this is the new structure deck from the OCG, and players are picking up this deck quite regularly recently. So yeah, I think this is a very good tier 3 meta deck right now for me on my books. And then moving on, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Kotobato tournament, weekly ranking tournament. We have Rescue Ace here again. We have seen a lot of Rescue Ace tops on the Philippines, so it's nothing too surprising here. I really think that Rescue Ace is the deck to beat on our local scene in the Philippines because you can see a lot of Rescue Ace tops. And then next we have Invoke Dogmatica with Revo Synchron from Kim. I have faced against this deck also last Friday or Saturday, I guess. I am flabbergasted with the amount of the resiliency of this deck has, because even if you ash the Alistair, sometimes they have the Revo Synchron on their hand that can use into Synchro 7, like Ancient Fairy Dragon, something like that. So yeah, it's quite a resilient deck for me. And next we have Megalith. So this is the first time I have seen Megalith for such a long time. Megalith can still definitely tap, no, on the hands of the right pilot. Only plays 2 Maxi and 2 Ash Blossom on the main deck. That's rather interesting. I would play 3, but he wants to keep his deck concise, I guess. That's why he ran only 2 Maxi and 2 Ash. Next we have Matmech 4th place here. The Matmech engine lost the circular, but it's not a big problem for them. They just replace it with the Firewall engine and Small World as well to make the deck more consistent. And special mention Tier Laments deck profile here from Al. And moving on, we have Aroma Card Shop, ranking tournament. At first, we have Alter Guys here, so it's been really a delight to see Alter Guys since 2019 still tapping until this date. So it proves how timely this deck is. You can definitely see Alter Guys taps from here and then. And the next we have Branded here with no Aluber. This is the branded deck profile of Moises, I guess our friend as well from the Kaido Wheels community. So he doesn't play Aluber on the branded. It's really interesting, but he got first place finish on the most competitive ranking tournament on Galleria courtside here in the Philippines. So he's a really skilled pilot, even playing a budget friendly version of branded. And next we have Thunder Dragon here with Revo Synchron and Bestials. This is what I like to see. I would rather see Bestial because it makes the deck more consistent and resilient for me. And then we have Sprite Tri Brigade. So usual deck list of Sprite Tri Brigade with triple Tenki. Such a relief that Tenki is back to 3. I'm a Tri Brigade player as well, and I would love to see Tenki at 3 any time of the day. And the next we have Devil's Lair Master Duel Tournament. We have Salamangreat here. So Salamangreat has been seeing notable tops lately, no? There's been a lot of Salamangreat tops recently, and I think that this is a very good deck as well. I rate this deck as a tier 3 meta deck right now because of the numerous tops that I am seeing with the Salamangreat. Plays Dark Ruler No More on the side deck. Really interesting. I don't rate Dark Ruler No More, to be honest, right now, because I feel like the format is pretty much not that negation oriented unlike before. And then next we have Rescue Ace here with Parallel Exceed, really spicy. So you don't see Parallel Exceed on Rescue Ace that much, and only plays 2 Hydrant. I really like this ratio from this Rescue Ace player because I think that Hydrant should be at 2 on most deck lists. I often see drawing 2 Hydrant as a bad sign or a brick scenario for me. That's why I would love to see 2 copies of Hydrant. And then next we have Arcanium Hobbies Tournament. We have another Rescue Ace here. So this guy also plays a triple Parallel Exceed. So maybe they want to extend really further to summon out the Dark Fluid Dragon that can dump this Cyber's Fusion. And he doesn't play Mirror Logic at that extent. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. And next we have Exorcister. Doesn't play Aratama on the main deck, quite unusual. Instead plays Raigeki into Dark Ruler No More. I don't really regard that cards right now in the format, but yeah, I guess it works for him. And Triple Goes in Match, I really like this innovation from Kevin because you want to play around Kurikara or Kaijus or Santa Claus sometimes. So yeah, Goes in Match can answer that as well. And next we have Matmech Firewall. So yeah, standard deck is of Matmech right now. And next we have RDA again with Bestial. This is also a good innovation from RDA players playing Bestial. I really like this one. And next we have Fireyan's Card Game Merchant Tournament. We have here Three Elements with Rescue Ace Engine. So I have mentioned this Rescue Ace, Impulse, and Fire Attacker on my recent video of tech cards, top 5 tech cards on July 2023, because this gives so much value on playing against decks like Purely, because those decks add 4 card advantages and you have Fire Attacker to do the same for you. So I think that this is a very good innovation and tech card right now. And next we have Super Heavy Samurai from Afrizal, Flitora of Antraps on this Super Heavy Samurai with Kaijus. So yeah. And moving on, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Gapo, Tabletop Gapo ranking tournament. We have Julius Zapata, Dynamorphia. So Dynamorphia is quite popular on the Philippines. Many players love this deck And many players are still figuring out on how to out Rexstorm as well as me, because Rexstorm has been very irritating to deal against. And yeah, I think that this is a good job for Dynamorphia player here from Julius. And next we have Nicole Santos. Plays Labyrinth with Transaction Rollback. This is the innovation of Labyrinth recently. With Transaction Rollback, the deck became more resilient and explosive. And next we have Bob Marzan with Sky Striker. Plays Metal Foes Fusion and 2 Foolish Burial Goods. So he wants to flourish his engage to have more value for him, and plays Ghost Bell as well. I really like this fact from Bob Marzan. And next we have Joshua Oriano, purely, once more, with Dark World now. I don't see many players playing Dark World on purely nowadays. They ditch this discard fathers for more hand traps and other resiliency cards and utility cards. And moving on, we have Paducah, weekly tournament. Kashtira, Good Gracious. I have never thought that I'm still seeing Kashtira right now. But yeah, I think Arise Heart Pass is just too good to ignore, no? Arise Heart can be very problematic on a format where graveyard is really important. We have decks like Tearlaments and Adamantipator that relies on their graveyard, and purely as well doesn't want to lose their graveyard as well. So yeah, Arise Heart can be very difficult task to play around right now. And plays next we have Vernisylph Naturia with Ishizu. So technically Earth good stuff with Forbidden Droplet on the main deck. I really think that Forbidden Droplet can be very good on the format right now, just to suppress boss monsters like Mirror Jade and Drul Kalos. And yeah, I think that this is a good card right now on the format. And plays Royal Decree, so he doesn't want to lose to any back row trap decks on this format. Really interesting from him. And then next we have Rescue Ace with Fire Barrier Statue. So I think that this can stun a lot of decks right now on the format, except for the mirror match. But yeah, I think this is quite interesting take on Rescue Ace right now. And plays Dark Hole as well on the side deck. Really interesting. And plays Baguska as well. Really nice. And then moving on, we have Duelist Cerebro Sungay Card Game Community Weekly Tournament. At first here we have Super Heavy Samurai Bestial Synchro Shenanigans. So technically good stuff. 60 card good stuff. So a very explosive deck. And next we have Unchained Evil Twin. Another explosive deck. Unchained really gained popularity nowadays from their support from Duelist Nexus. And you can see Unchained taps from here and there in the OCG format. So yeah, if you're going to look for a roguish or tier 3 meta deck, I think Unchained is the best deck for you right now. And then moving on, we have Duelist Devata Weekly Tournament. At first place here, we have another Invoke Dogmatica. So Invoke Dogmatica has been seeing traction lately. And this Ramat plays Nemesis Corridor on the main deck because Invoke Shenanigans banishes as well. So you can bring out Thunder Dragon Colossus and place Dark Hole on the side deck. So I think that Dark Hole is a really prevalent card on the TCG, but not that much on the OCG for me. So it's really interesting to see Dark Hole here. And then next we have Rikasan Avalon. This also is very popular on the TCG. This deck won the UWCQ, I guess, from Jessica. So yeah, I think this is quite popular over the TCG, but on OCG it's not that popular, but it's really good as well for me. Plays only to Con, and I like this ratio from Filippo. I think Con should be at 2 right now. Next we have Chimera. So this also plays Master of Beast on the Chimera. Maybe I'm not seeing into it too much that Deo Gregor Pizarro plays Master of Beast as well, like earlier. And low as well plays Master of Beast. Maybe this has some interactions towards the Chimera that I don't know yet. So moving on, we have our Kaido Willis Premiership Primotool Ranking Tournament. Again, we have Joshua Coriano, Vanquishol. So this is the same deck list as earlier. And next we have MJ Agura, Alter Guys. So 43 card Alter Guys plays triple evenly match on the main deck and 2 Gamma Shell. So I think that this is a interesting take as well from MJ. Main decking Gamma Shell on the Alter Guys. And then moving on, we have MJ Agura again with branded. So this time with his branded 43 card as well. 43 card is the magic number for MJ. So yeah, I think that he will stick to 43. So he plays Super Poly targets on the side deck. I really like this one because Super Poly has been very good for me on my testing right now on the current format, and plays 2 Herald of the Abyss against purely matchups. I would rather see this Herald of the Abyss over Gamma Shell right now, or any Kaiju, because they play the field spell nowadays at 3. So yeah, I think that Herald of the Abyss should be looked upon over any Kaijus. And next we have Trap Tricks from Ruben Reyes. So plays Summon Limit on the main deck. Really interesting, and plays the double or nothing package on the main deck. Maybe he wants to have OTK access towards the Utopia double package on his extra deck. And then moving on, we have another ranking tournament from our community. We have MJ Agura here, same deck list from earlier. This time he got first place champion finish. And next we have Nilmark Del Rosario Unchained. So this one plays 1 tour guide only and 1 Rhino Warrior. Really interesting. I often see 3 copies of tour guide or even 2. But Nilmark plays 1 only and 1 Rhino Warrior only. Pardon for the noise from outside. Plays evenly match as well on the main deck. Maybe he wants to go second sometimes on this Unchained, because this deck has a lot of OTK potential as well. And moving on, we have MJ Agura, Bestial Sprite. So Bestial Sprite toned down a lot from the previous ban list. They just lost the Sprite Elf and only 1 copies of Jet and Blue. So this deck suffered some consistency issues, but MJ still plays this deck up until now and still manages to top. So yeah, I guess this deck can still work. And next we have Reden Andalan, another Invoke Dogmatica. So you can see that Invoke Dogmatica has been quite relevant lately on the Philippines and Indonesia as well. So yeah, I think that Invoke Dogmatica should be deck that should be prepared against, because Winda is such a terrible boss monster to play against. And then moving on, we have the same ranking tournament on our community. We have another champion deck profile from MJ Agura. So he's been popping off really good lately on our tournament. So yeah, he plays Orcus here. So 43 card main deck as well. Like I have said earlier, 43 works a magic like for him. And 2 Twin Twister and 2 Forbidden Droplet. Really nice from MJ, because you want your Orcus cards on the graveyard most of the time. And next we have Scarecrow Adventurer from Mark Gonzalez. So this is what I'm talking about earlier. Most often I see Scarecrow with Adventurer engine, but yeah, I think that without Adventurer, this deck can work also fine. But I would rather play it with Adventurer, to be honest, because it gives so much value with Aramiser and Aquamancer. And then next, we have La Fabricas Neo Egoist League. So this tournament in our community as well, that is inspired by Blue Lock. So we have Carl Steven Reneveras, Rika. So quite standard deck is of Rika. Plays these 3 poly copies of Sunvine and 45 card main deck. Quite extensive, but works for him, to be honest. I don't know the name of this card between Solemn Judgment and Dark Ruler No More. So it's a tech card for him. I would see it later, or what are the effects of this card. It's really interesting. And then moving on, we have Unchained from Memorabilia YGO, July monthly tournament from Tata Kapili. So this time doesn't play. So he plays a triple tour guide. So this is what I like to see: triple copies of tour guide and one Rhino Warrior as well. I think that is the correct ratio of playing Unchained right now with tour guide. So XYZ lineup of DDD as well on his extra deck is present. It's just that this DDD Hiking Wave Caesar, I guess that's the name of this card of this rank 6, is quite expensive right now. So many players are not really buying this on their extra deck. And next we have, I think this is the last deck list. Yeah, we have Dogmatica here, a finalist deck list from Ruben Centro. So many players on their memorabilia tournament expressed, what do you call this, frustration when playing against him because Dogmatica can rip extra deck cards and as well as hand cards. So yeah, it's a really frustrating deck to play against. And yeah, props to Ruben Centro for topping with Dogmatica. Really unusual and unconventional deck, but can definitely snatch victories from unprepared players on the current format. So that sums up our Uncrowned Kings local metagame report video. So thank you for watching this video. If you have time, you can check out our Facebook page of this Uncrowned Kings and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell if you want to get updated on more of my contents, and hit the like button if you like this kind of content.
Fighting ways to get away.